think that women love to be challenged through CrossFit.
It's at like a really crossroads in my life. I had a really good friend who said, I just started CrossFitting, I'm sore at the end of the day and I can't walk upstairs, but you would love it.
So the first time we worked out, we did power cleans, toes to bar, and double unders. So I got home with a bruised collarbone and whip marks all over my body and was pretty much hooked from that point on. I grew up about 20 minutes east of Green Bay, Wisconsin, in a town of 544 people. There's more dairy cows than people in my hometown, and there's one stoplight in my whole county, so it's definitely a little culture shock moving out here.
I'm originally from South Carolina. I moved to New York about 6 years ago. I'm a singer-songwriter, so I knew at some point in my life I'd want to either try out LA or New York. And then once I got here, I kind of got mixed up with CrossFit and singing and trying to balance the two.
I've always been an athlete, and we started playing sports when I was a young kid, and I ended up playing college softball, competing in the World Series, and then I played pro ball for 5 years. It's hard, I think, to be in that environment, to be in a team sport and to devote so much of your life and identity to one thing, and then to not have it anymore. But when I found CrossFit, and this group of people particularly, kind of felt like I had filled definitely that team dynamic, and also a way to just continue growing as an athlete.
The person who initially got me involved with CrossFit was Justin Kotler. He had also been talking to Kylee and stuff, so he was the one who kind of was like, hey guys, why don't you do this stuff together?
He saw me doing like burpee pull-ups and like just some random CrossFit style stuff that I didn't really even know what it was. And he pulled me to the side one day and just said, listen, I think you've got some really good athletic abilities. I would like to see what we could do with this.
I headed down to Dynamix gym. It was called Dynamix Gym at the time. I walked in and Kylee Claxton was doing butterfly pull-ups and handstand push-ups, two things I'd never seen before. And I'm looking at it like, what is this? I have no idea what this is, but I was really excited about it.
I was training at what we call the Globo Gym for a while, and I got into CrossFit in August of 2008, and it was an eye-opening experience. It was really a life-changing experience. I'd never been part of a sport that was just this kind of compassionate community where you were cheering for the first place winner, but the people who came in last were getting the most cheers. And I had never seen that before. And I decided that I was all in. And in February of this year, we opened up this place. And our slogan is change your fitness, change your life. And we have done that, I think, on a pretty large scale. But it's a family, it's a community, and it's one of the most amazing things I've ever done in my whole life.
The reason I think women are really starting to like CrossFit now is women intellectually are strong and women in the home are strong. And I think this is just kind of a cool kick-ass way for women to be like, I can be strong physically but still can be feminine.
When it comes to fitness, I have to always be changing it up or else I'm bored out of my mind. So that's the cool thing about CrossFit, because it is a blend of a little bit of everything. Gymnastics, weightlifting, conditioning, and new movements that you don't typically see. Like when you think of a gym, you think of machines, and people get really intimidated by machines, but you come into CrossFit and it looks like a playground. You've got balls, you've got ropes, so it's stuff like that that your inner child wants to try to, attack.
I think the coolest thing about CrossFit is that it's not like you hit one accomplishment, and that's it, and you kind of just bank that. Every day, there's certain things that click or come together. So it's a daily accomplishment, I think. You're competing against your own times and your own bests all the time. And it's amazing to see the progress. What you really can do. Something that seems so overwhelming and impossible, all of a sudden, you're like, yeah, I can do that now, and it's fast.
A muscle up to a lot of female CrossFitters is something that almost seems impossible. And they see these women doing this every single day. They see what they can do, the role models that they have. I honestly believe that they pretty quickly find that nothing is impossible.
I feel like women, they can come in here and they see like what the men are doing, and they like to go, well, 14-pound wall ball to a 10 target, that's just as hard for me as the 20-pound is for you, and you know what, I bet you I can get it above that target. Watch this, down and right back up. you know, because they see these other women who have been empowered and started from scratch and really built up. You know, we're always in their ear saying, you know, I remember when the PVC pipe was hard to overhead squat, and I remember I've been exactly where you are. If you'll just stick with it, if you'll just trust me, here's where you can get to. And they love that.
You know, I think that's why we're successful, is because we listen and care about the person. So whether you do want to be an athlete or whether you just want to get back in shape after having a child, you know, we treat you with the same gloves. And I mean, that's what I try to do as a trainer, just try to respect you and make that my priority.
I'm proud to say that I've lost weight. I felt better than I ever could, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Emily became such a part of my life. She took someone that had like no self-esteem and built her into something the world has yet to see. I think a lot of women would not only love CrossFit, it would change their lives.
I think CrossFit is extremely empowering for a lot of females. This is really a culture that celebrates strength and power, and what they can do and what they can lift is celebrated. And you know, girls with muscles are hot, and it's okay to lift weight and to sweat. Aesthetically, you end up being lean and strong and healthy, but the focus is less on that. The focus is more on what you can do and what you can accomplish and how you can grow as an athlete, and the other stuff follows.
Before I got into CrossFit, I was more worried about aesthetics than I am now. You know, at one time, you know, you look at other girls and you're like, oh, she's so pretty, I hate her. And now it's like, meh, that bitch has got nothing on my overhead squat. You know what I mean? It's like, you know your inner strength and you know what you're capable of, and it kind of makes all the other superficial bullshit.
You know, if you're not in a fraternity or if you're not on a basketball team, you know, you miss that sense of having a team and some place that you can go where everybody's on the same page and everybody's striving for the same thing, and will pick you up when you've fallen down, and will push you for that one more thing, and will hug you and slap your hand at the end of it, knowing that you gave it your all. So I would say that that's what it represents for me. It's that brotherhood, sisterhood.